Not the kids, not the teachers, not the lunch ladies.
What if what if he was carrying around like $100 in cash?
I know. Yeah, especially to a teenager. I would have at least taken the money.
Well, I didn't, so I guess
Well,
lost opportunity.
Well, you're a fool. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Nonsense, where we give you all the latest movie news you may have missed. I'm Nick Simmons.
And I'm not mad, just disappointed. Zach Smith.
And for the week of October 5th, let's roll into the previews. Zach, what have you been watching?
So I watched two things. We're going to have a little bit of a couple special episodes for the coming weeks.
It's October.
You know, we did 2 episodes of our new format, and we're like, let's just throw
all
out the window for a month.
It's poor timing,
Yeah.
but I don't care. I love themes, and I love October. It's the best month of the year.
Yeah, so
As an adult.
So for every week in October, we're going to be coming here with a new spooky theme.
Yes.
So I watched 2 things for our theme this week.
And I didn't.
That's okay. You can take one of mine, because one of them was way more enjoyable than the other.
Oh,
But
isn't that always the case with you?
I'll get to that later.
Okay.
But the only thing I watched separately from that is I watched their new wrestling show.
The All Elite Wrestling?
Yeah, that AEW.
I heard it was okay.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good wrestling.
Yeah.
Some kinks to work out, but yeah.
I mean, it's brand new. They're trying to make a big old conglomerate that, WWE, WWF has they've held it by the nape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've held the kitten by the nape.
This is an interesting metaphor, but I'm on board for
I
it.
don't know metaphors, all right? I'm really bad with them. But they're trying to start something new, you know, and if it looks
Shake
like they
up
know...
the status quo. It's the new WCW, but without all the shenanigans of WCW, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I was going to say more like ECW or...
Well, no, it's more... I think it's more like WCW.
Okay.
It's odd.
I stopped watching wrestling like...
Well, this is more
15
than
years
I
ago.
was expecting to talk about it, honestly.
Already.
I was just planning on coming here and saying I watched some pretty good wrestling. this
Okay.
week.
Okay. Sorry.
But if you want to go into the logistics,
I don't.
I could start throwing out terms.
I don't know anything about ring outs and chair
Ring
table
outs.
and Jerry Lawyer,
Jerry Lawyer,
Sting, the singer, and Undertaker pile driving with,
Andre 3000
with the beers and the Mustang.
Let's move on. Nick, how's your week?
I've just been working. I've been working and watching TV. I think I briefly mentioned it last week that I was going to try to go back and watch Mr. Robot and try to catch up.
You mentioned playing with the idea.
Yeah, I was playing with the idea. I started watching it, and then I forgot that they are hour-long episodes. Some of them are.
How many episodes per season?
10.
Okay.
But so it's 10 episodes. They're about 45 minutes to an hour long each. And I mean, it's a really great show. I think it's the 5th season is about to premiere tomorrow. Either the 5th season. Hold on, let me look that up really quick.
Oh God, he's looking it up.
Quick,
Ring the bell.
Ding, 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 ding. Vamp for me.
I want to suck your blood.
No, son of a... I guess it's in par with the theme. Hold on.
What's more spooky, the theme or my accent?
The theme.
Oh,
okay.
Fine.
I'm crying, not because of my allergies, which you will hear me sniffing a lot in this episode. I apologize. I will try to avoid it.
You fucking disgust me. Ugh.
It's okay. I got tissues. The 4th season is premiering, so the first 3 seasons, 10 episodes each, 30 episodes. It takes about a day and 8 hours, give or take. Yeah.
That's very specific for an estimation.
So I watched a couple episodes. Fantastic. Love the cinematography, love the acting, love the direction, love the music especially. And it's very David Fincher-esque in its tone.
Okay.
And if you've never watched it...
I have not.
You have not, but I highly recommend... Just give it, like, the first 2 episodes, and I guarantee you... Yeah, you'll know. So I started watching that. I'm still watching Friends. I'm almost done.
Hey.
I'm doing the finger guns. Yeah, for.
Oh God, there's so many bullets.
I'm sorry, we're children. And Joey and Rachel are trying to make it work, but Ross is not okay with it.
No,
So-
he's fine.
He's fine.
He's
It's fine. Who wants fajitas?
My fajitas.
Yeah. So I just watched that episode. Sorry, hold on. I hit the mic.
God, you disgust me.
It's gonna be a pretty manic episode this week. So I've been watching that. Just the same old. Unfortunately, I'm trying to watch more spooky stuff. I will do that this weekend.
You better.
All right, Mom. Tell me the other thing that you watched.
So for our theme this week was haunted house movies.
Haunted house, yes.
Spooky haunted
Now,
houses.
Is that houses that are haunted with like haunted ghosts in them, or the house itself that's haunted?
I took it as because when you start narrowing a theme down to be more specific, you can kind of get into some trouble where it's like only one or two movies fit that.
I know, but we've never really been about being specific.
In my mind, it's like any enclosed space.
Yeah.
That's not like a fucking wooden area.
So like you can have lamps and stuff flickering and like tables and stuff moving around, but that's not necessarily the house or a ghost inhabiting the thing. It could be either or.
Right. Well,
Right.
It depends. It depends on what you watch, right?
Okay.
Because sometimes it's the house, but it's actually not. It's the people. Oh, or that it is the house.
It's the people.
They're coming from inside the house.
So what
Since they're
specifically did you watch?
Well, I wanted to watch something that I hadn't seen before, so I forgoed favorites of mine like The Conjuring or The Others, like things that are like at least I know that I enjoy them.
Yeah.
And I had seen this movie called Lake Mungo.
Oh yeah, the Australian one.
Yeah, on many
Oh, shrimp on the barbie. Oh no, ghosts.
Oh God.
I'm Australian.
Please stop.
Oh Lord, that's not a knife. That's a ghost.
I'm going to start by
You're the worst. You're worse than I am. You're worse at accents than I am.
I never pretended to be good at them. That's the difference.
So, Lake Mungo is what you watched.
Yes, because I had seen it numerous times on many lists. Like, oh, you won't believe how terrifying Lake Mungo is. Click the link to find out.
Yeah.
This one quick trick. All that.
We'll fix your finances forever.
You won't believe what they said about Lake Mungo.
So what's it about? Because I remember
That's a good fucking question, Nick. What is Lake Mungo about?
Is it about it's like a fake documentary about...
No, it's not just a fake documentary. It's like fake, like those little shows that you would see on like crime.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
No, not that.
Oh.
Like on the crime channels, like craziest murders on 4th Street. I don't fucking
Something
know.
that doesn't exist anymore because of YouTube.
Right. Well, it does exist. It's the ID channel now. My mom watches.
Oh yeah,
it.
yeah. It's true crime stuff.
Yeah,
my mom is into that too.
It's kind of like that.
It's weird how moms are into true
I
crime
know.
now.
My mom goes to sleep to it.
It's the first thing. Yeah, it's what
It
she
seems
listens
really
to.
morbid.
I know. Fall asleep to the sound of your son's voice. Download the podcast. Jeez. Thank you for.
I don't think for some reason I feel like that's
Is that
somehow
weirder?
weirder.
Oh well.
So.
Sorry, we're never gonna get to it. Oh my gosh. Go ahead.
Lake Mungo is like one of those style TV shows, like the ID true crime things.
Yes.
Or like the shows that would air next to what's the one of the ones where they go Ghost Adventures.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like that.
HGTV.
But it's just like all interviews.
Yes.
And it's about this girl who drowns in a lake, but then she starts showing up in pictures and things like that. And so
one does.
It seems like the house that they're occupied is now haunted with this daughter's ghost.
Yeah.
She's like a 15-year-old kid. And that's pretty much it.
And it's just, I remember when I first saw it, it's basically tension building throughout the entire movie.
That's an interesting way to take it off of that trailer. Yep.
I mean,
I wish that were the case.
really?
Yeah.
I'm just going off of my experience of watching it like
Right.
back when it came out,
Right.
which was like forever ago.
I want to say, like, because after I watched it, I went around and I was like, okay, I have to know if people feel the same way about this movie that I do, because like beforehand, I had just seen so many lists like talking about how great it is and how like terrifying the normalcy of it is. But really, it just ended up being kind of boring.
Yeah.
And that's not to say I can't appreciate a horror movie that doesn't have jump scares. Right? I love, all the subtle things. In fact, I generally hate horror movies that rely on jump scares.
Yeah, that's
like,
just...
I watched The Nun, which I talked about on a previous Nicknames Movies podcast.
Hey-oo.
And that was like one of the worst, most boring fucking horror movies I've ever watched.
Like,
because it was just back-to-back jump scares. And I wasn't even jumping. So, like, well,
it's not even doing its job.
Your whole point of existing is not even, like, there's nothing here. So, I don't need that. And most of the time, I don't want it.
Yeah. You don't want to waste your time on something like that.
I do, however, want to feel slightly scared in my horror movie.
Yeah.
This is like watching 60 Minutes.
Oh, I'm already out. No, thank you.
This is like watching 60 Minutes about... I don't even know. Because I can't even say, like, about a murder, because at least that would be somewhat morbidly interesting.
Yeah, because
right?
that's something that actually happened.
This is like,
whereas this is fiction.
This is like 60 Minutes on a slight misunderstanding that one family had, and trying to everyone trying to understand each other. And it's boring as it sounds.
It's an independent movie, though, right? This wasn't.
Yes, but I've watched plenty of independent horror movies that are, at the very least, if not scary, then at least entertaining. I don't know how people go around recommending this movie.
It's just interesting that you say this, because maybe it was because I was younger, I was more impressionable. Maybe it's because I hadn't seen good horror movies until recently. But I remember liking it, so maybe it's just maybe I need to go back and see it.
They will take plot points in this movie, like at the very beginning. There's this plot point about how the mom, because she has these nightmares about her daughter, like being at the foot of her bed, like dripping in water. And I will say, at the beginning, it at least seems like it's going in an interesting place.
Right.
Like the tension's building. Like, everything seems, okay, yeah, I'm interested in what's happening here.
Yeah.
They have a plot point where, because this mom doesn't want to be asleep at night and have these, like, terrible nightmares, she'll just randomly start walking out into the neighborhood and then go into people's houses.
Oh, that's creepy.
Just wander in people's houses. And she's like, yeah, I didn't think there'd be anything wrong with that.
Well, clearly you're doing something wrong, Mom.
She phrases it in a way that's like, tune in after the commercial break for more true crime, and which we figure out why it was actually a big deal.
Yeah.
It frames it as like something bad is going to happen because of this. Like, she's going to be walking in someone's house and she's going to get killed or something.
Yeah.
That's the entire movie.
Okay.
Here's this thing. It's something bad's going to happen because of it, right? Like, this is a bad omen right here.
Yeah.
No, we're just not even going to talk about it.
It seems like this was like an idea that somebody came up with, and when they realized that it was probably only going to be like a 10-minute horror short, they're like, oh, we need to pad this with like a lot of stuff.
It's kind of long, too. And I don't even really know if it's actually long, but it feels fucking long, man. Because they do it so much where they're like, so eventually it's called into question whether or not these quote-unquote hauntings are real.
2008. An hour, 29 minutes.
So, yeah, it's not that long even. Yeah. But it felt like 3 hours.
It's got a 94%.
I
on
know.
Rotten
That's
Tomatoes.
what I'm fucking baffled about.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's like, okay, there's definitely a ghost in here. No, there's not. This is why there's not a ghost. And it goes through a whole 30-minute explanation of what actually was happening. Oh, but there's this thing too. So it is
realistic.
A ghost.
Yeah.
Now it's actually this thing. It is totally separate from anything that we've been dealing with before.
Yeah.
And now we're going to drive out to a fucking Australia desert. And we're going to spend like 10 minutes there in which like maybe something of significance happens. No, not really.
Oh.
And at the very end, it's like, okay, so yeah, none of that mattered, right? Or did it? And then as the credits are starting, it's like intercutting with all these pictures that we've seen throughout the movie that have since been
highlights the ghost.
Oh, yeah, well, and they've since been discredited, right? For one reason or another. But then it like slowly pans over to like the far edge of it. It's like, but you didn't see this. I'm upset, man.
I'm pretty upset too. Should have taken that Benadryl. Can I console you with? I know this was the bad film, and you have a better film.
I have a more enjoyable film.
Okay, so let me kind of interstitch that with a movie I did watch this week.
Yeah, you went and saw the Joker.
I saw the Joker guy.
Yeah. How many jokes did he tell?
Like actual jokes?
Like knock knock jokes. How many knock knock jokes were there? That's how I base quality on.
I think there was actually like one or two.
By the way, I think we should incorporate more knock knock jokes on our podcast.
Really?
That way we are better quality for the people.
Okay. You sound hazed. Knock knock.
Who's there?
So the Joker movie. So I went to go see it 4 p.m. Thursday. Due to me pre-purchasing the ticket.
Contractual obligations.
No, I mean it was more of a I had the time. And
they had it in writing. They said, Nick, you have to be at the theater at 4.
Yes, it's in my blood contract with the movie theater.
Oh wow, blood.
Yes,
that's intense.
It was spilled over popcorn.
Ew.
It was delicious.
Ew.
It wasn't my blood.
That's even worse.
So I went to go see it, and I'm like, okay, the expectations for this movie are
pretty high. Yeah,
critics are loving it. And some early previews of layman's, I'll say, just people who don't normally aren't paid to go see films, are coming out of it going, meh.
Yeah.
Not hating it, but not loving
the buzz. Yeah.
Not what the critics were saying. So I was like, okay, well, I am just gonna have to go in level, not think about it until the movie starts. So the movie starts.
Okay.
And it starts like any other film in the early 80s.
Nice. With
the yellow swirled text of like directed by Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
So it looks like it was made at the same time as Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Nice. I thought this was in no. Okay. I was gonna say I thought this was in the 90s, but the Batman is in the 90s.
The Batman?
Yeah, yeah.
The Robert Pattinson one coming out? Yeah. Just say that at the top, by the way. This does not...
It's not connected
to any other DC film whatsoever, which I will touch on here in a little bit. I'll try not to get too much into it, because I feel like if I do, I'm going to start spoiling the movie.
Getting the spoilers,
yeah. And I know you're interested in seeing it, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I would have seen it. I would have seen it, not saw it. Fuck. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'm keeping all this in. What a loser!
Oh, no!
Yeah, you're the worst out of the two of us.
I would have seen it this weekend if I had the time, but I did not.
That's okay. Well, you had all day today.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you say you were free, not doing anything today?
Well, for you, yeah, not for the movie theater.
And I'll say this at the top. I enjoyed this film.
Yeah. I
enjoyed 98% of this film.
Okay. It's a good average.
Yes. It's a very good average. One would almost say an A+.
Yeah.
If you're going by grading.
You know, what's the difference between a A+ 98 and an A+ 100? Really?
The last 3 to 4 minutes of the film.
Oh.
So let me just. I enjoyed the film. Let me say that at the top. Say that at the top. I'm sorry. I'm gonna kind of ramble here. I'm gonna mix words up.
You're trying to get around spoilers.
I came out of the movie thinking about it, and when you have to say that about a comic book movie, it definitely does something. This is more of a comic book movie. More than a comic book movie. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I got what you mean.
In fact, I honestly think that this film, Joker, is better when it is not a comic book movie.
So I was wondering about that, if this was just going to be kind of a crime drama movie with the facelift of like, oh, it's the quote-unquote Joker.
Yeah. So, like what I said before, when it's better whenever it's not trying to be a comic book movie. What I mean by that is, again, without spoilers or anything, when this tries to tie into a bigger universe, much like the MCU or the DCEU or any other movie universes try to do, whenever it tries to tie into everything else or reference other things, it's to the detriment of the scene. Yeah. The scene in particular, okay, I should say, gotcha. Because there are other scenes where it's very much all about Arthur Fleck, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and what he's dealing with, what he's going through, and what a lot of people go through on a day-to-day basis in the real world. It's a very personal film, and I feel like the reason why people are worried about this film having an effect on people, and why there have been rumors of all that stuff, political correctness. I could definitely see this film affecting people. It affected me. I honestly think that were I not in the right mindset, this movie would definitely persuade me to take action.
Oh, yeah.
But that's beside the point. The film itself is very character-driven. Every single scene has Arthur Fleck in it. It never cuts away from Joaquin Phoenix. It's a personal journey of how he goes from this scrawny, getting by, being a clown, and taking care of his mother in this really shitty Gotham apartment. And his mom is obviously older and not in her right mindset, but there's things going on, and basically the whole world is shit.
Yeah.
It's the early 80s, late 80s. They don't give you an exact year, but no one has cell phones. Everything is a CRTV.
Right.
16:9, whatever. Joaquin Phoenix deserves an Oscar for this.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he honestly deserves an Oscar for a lot of his performances. He puts everything into his work.
The only one he got was Walk the Line, right?
I believe so. Actually, let me look that up. Are you going to look it up? You look it up, and I'll go more into detail about the movie. It sets up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an origin story for more than one character, obviously.
So that's interesting because pre-release conversations with Phillips,
yes,
he was very adamant that there would only be a sequel if, like, Joaquin wanted to do it.
Right. And Joaquin probably does not want to do it. This took a lot out of him. As it almost always does, this character.
And that it was supposed to have no connections to anything else. So when you're telling me that it's setting itself up for a sequel,
that
kind of smacks of like the marketing guy in the background being like, oh, but what if you just hint at this?
I think it's probably more a producer thing, and DC itself trying to go like, hey, remember this is an origin story for Joker, and while this is, I'm sorry, it's hard
to talk about without spoilers.
It's very hard to talk about without going into spoilers. But the best thing about this film, and I didn't even think about it because I was watching it at face value, but thinking about it more and more and just going scene by scene, there's a lot of it where you try to think like, wait, did that actually happen? Was this real? Did the scene where he was talking to this one, does this character even exist?
Interesting. Okay.
And he has an interesting character trait, which don't think is a spoiler because you kind of see it in the trailers, but he, I forgot the name of it. I had it written down too.
The spontaneous
the spontaneous laughter, which no one had really ever even tried to implement into, because whenever people tried to tackle the Joker's origin, they're like, oh, well, that's not the Joker's origin. He shouldn't have an origin. There is an explanation for that in this movie.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So without this, this is an origin story, but it's also not an origin story because there's a very unreliability to the way that the story is being told.
Okay. Joaquin Phoenix has actually not won.
He's not won an Oscar, but he has been nominated.
He's been nominated 3 times.
Okay.
Once for Best Supporting Actor in Gladiator, and twice for Best Actor in Walk the Line and The Master.
Oh, The Master. I thought it was for the other one where he was the...
Inherent Vice?
Yes.
No, he was not nominated on that, but he won or was nominated for it.
It's probably not...
Golden Globe.
Yeah, Golden Globes.
He was nominated for that, and he won Walk the Line, a Golden Globe.
So that he was a front runner.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, he's a fantastic performer. He always puts himself into the role. In fact, everybody in this movie, I think, does a really good job. Save for some of the characters that only have like one scene.
Okay.
But actors who know that they're only going to be in one scene and don't have to do too much.
Right.
Beside like give a character an item and then walk away.
Yeah.
But I mean, Robert De Niro is fantastic in his role.
As the
talk show host, who's very much an idol to Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck. But yeah, the best part of this film and the best part of the film was something that I didn't realize until after I saw the movie and I started thinking about it. Was, okay, was that scene real? Okay, what happens after that scene?
Right.
Okay, was he kicking garbage or was he kicking a body? Okay, did that happen? So the more and more you think about it, the more it's like an everlasting gobstopper. I was going to say.
Okay, yeah.
You were thinking.
No, I was thinking of an actual narrative trope, but you were thinking.
I was thinking
Willy
candy.
Wonka.
Yeah, I was thinking. It's just something that becomes more and more savory the more and more you chew on it. So.
Interesting. Okay, that's an interesting way to put it.
So again, I'm sorry for being so vague.
It's we're not even through the first full weekend.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I highly recommend. Okay, so for the people who are interested in seeing it, for the people who aren't, I actually recommend this movie for people who aren't necessarily comic book fans.
Yeah.
But who know of the origin of Joker and Batman and all this stuff, which almost every American does. So I recommend it for comic book fans, but go into it knowing that this is a artistic interpretation,
it's
much like
tangentially related.
Right. So go into it the same mindset you had going into Logan, or going into I was going to say Deadpool, but that's pretty on par with that character. Yeah, I mean, just go into it realizing that first, just go into it like a normal movie. And then be kind of excited about the certain references and stuff like that.
Pieces here and there.
Yeah. One last thing, actually, I need to say this. I need, because when I was watching the movie, I was like, I need to bring this up on the podcast. Great visual effects, great set design, everything. There is some really, really bad CGI blood that's added in to some scenes.
Really?
Yeah. Certain viscera violent scenes. There needs to be gore, but like you can do it practically a lot better, a lot cheaper than adding in CGI.
That's unfortunate. But this was done on the cheap, was it not? This movie, production budget was pretty low, I think.
If it was pretty low,
that's why they were willing to take the risk on it.
I mean, they bring back Chicago or New York, wherever they filmed it, to the 1980s. So hold on, let me look that up. Box office. Oh, I said it again. Box office mojo. The joke. Oh, that was the second result.
This is actually part of my the news docket this week too.
Is it?
It's box office performance.
Yes,
it's on track to beat Venom.
Yes, thank you.
As the biggest opening weekend gross, domestic
gross
in October.
Yeah, which I'm really, really happy for. I hope this movie makes a lot of money so that Hollywood can go. We can make they can go back to thinking we can make R-rated comic book movies that actually make money. Because Logan did the exact same thing. Deadpool did the same thing, although these were different release dates as well. 39.9 million estimate as of October 4th, so that was yesterday. 2 hours, 2 minutes. It actually feels really shorter than that.
Really?
Yeah. It actually goes by.
That's good. It's well paced.
It is a slow paced film. It's kind of a slow burn, but it's a character.
Can't be more slow paced than fucking Lake Mungo.
Oh my gosh, gotta let it go. But right now, worldwide gross is at 97.1 million, which is fantastic.
What was the production budget?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that was what we were looking at.
Yeah, well, I see the large money numbers, and I'm like, I want money, please, money now.
It's wishful thinking.
I don't see
it. It might not be on there.
Yeah, I think Warner Brothers is pretty.
I think we
tight about it.
Well, I think we only know like rough estimates.
Okay. Well, let me just fucking Google that.
I seem to remember that being the case, that it was fairly low, because that's why they were like, yeah, as long as it's not related.
55 million.
Was the production budget?
That's what it said. This was what Google tells me. So that's. Yeah. That was by design, as Todd Phillips pitched Joker as something completely different than the standard comic book movie fare. That is, according to GameSpot. 55. So it's on track to already break.
Yeah.
To already break even.
And that is fairly low when you compare it to other movies of that ilk.
Yeah.
Where like the MCU average budget is like over 120.
Yeah.
You know, so like if it's doing that on 55. Yeah, that's kind of a low budget one for them.
So that was kind of my review for Joker. I highly recommend people see it. Know that you're going into it's very serious. It takes the violence very seriously. It takes the psychological illness very seriously. It deals with class warfare. It deals with it's a very serious movie. It's called Joker.
Why so serious?
Yeah, all that stuff, But it's just the comic book stuff. It seemed a little much to me in the end.
Unnecessary.
At the end, yeah. So, that's my review for Joker. Thank you. Yes, clap more for me, please. What was the other movie? Let's go back into.
So yes, moving back to our theme of houses that are haunted.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
He lived in it was an apartment. Never mind.
Haunted apartment.
Those exist.
Yeah, that's what that TV show, Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, was about.
Yeah. The bee is short for ghosts.
It was haunted by Kristen Ritter.
Oh, yeah, the ghost of her character from Breaking Bad.
Anyway.
Because she dies in that.
Oh, spoiler.
I was like, season 2?
Spoiler.
Show's over. It's been over for years.
I've only watched season 1.
I've watched up until season 3 and then I stopped. Hey, we're going to lose fans over this. I didn't like Breaking Bad.
I liked it, but I dropped it and I didn't pick it up.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let me go watch Game of Thrones. It's much more enjoyable.
But that panned out for you.
It panned out pretty great, yeah. What was the other movie? We're never going to finish this podcast.
So the other movie I watched for our theme was called House. Now, that's not to be confused with the 1977 Japanese version. I wanted to watch that one.
Yeah.
And
that's a horrifying film.
That's why I wanted to watch it, because coming off of Lake Mungo, I'm like, okay, I wanted to watch a scary movie.
Yeah.
I have yet to be frightened in any sense of the word.
I need to be spooked. It's October, damn it.
So I was looking for that movie, which, again, I had read is very scary, and it's kind of
it's very dated,
hallucinatory type stuff going on.
A piano eats a little girl.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, sorry.
You just spoiled it today.
I'm just saying.
But I did find another movie, also called House.
Yeah,
from 1985. It's an American movie.
It's about a doctor who cures all these illnesses.
No.
It's about he has a cane.
Stop it right now.
It's Hugh Laurie.
How did that guy have a job for as long as he did?
With that show?
Yeah. No.
His character.
Not Hugh Laurie. How did House have a job?
I don't know. He was his.
I know he goes to jail at one point.
Spoiler.
It's House. Nobody cares.
I like the show. I just never got into it. what?
Nick Simmons planting the flag on the hill of House, as opposed to Breaking Bad across the way. This speaks volumes to your sense of quality.
I never finish anything. All right.
But you watched all 9 seasons of House?
No. There's 9 seasons?
I think so, yeah.
I only watched bits and pieces of it. I know that Olivia Wilde is in it.
Until she's not.
I know that her character dies, and she's like, what's her character's number? 13?
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
I think. I don't know. Anyway, so talking about the actual movie House. This is like... Okay, I'm going to give you some other movies I thought of while watching this.
Oh. That are better?
That I wouldn't say they're... Well, yeah, most of them are better in terms of quality, but there's just something that...
Zach Smith bringing in the recommendations.
It's kind of brought into this. Like that. This is just what I thought of while watching this.
Okay.
For one reason or another, and it was The Conjuring.
It reminds you of these?
In certain ways.
Okay.
Not the entire movie. These
Okay.
are just bits and pieces.
All right.
The Conjuring. Gremlins.
Nice. Gremlins 1 or Gremlins 2?
Gremlins 1.
Oh, okay.
Dennis the Menace.
I'm in. You should say The Shining, because that's the first thing I think of instead of Dennis the Menace. That's a horror movie with a kid on a tricycle?
Yeah, but there's very little kid actually in this.
Oh.
Which I know seems confusing because I just referenced Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
But it's like... So what this is, essentially, is a horror comedy B-movie played straight, for the most part.
I'm very confused by the tone of this picture.
It is a little baffling because when it starts, it's like it's a little dated. The budget was like $3 million or something. It's super fucking low.
So low, $3 million
for yeah.
I don't know what that voice was. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm looking it up. I'm still anything.
Ah, boo!
Yeah.
Just get your own damn thing.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, your thing is...
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Budget was $3 million.
Wow.
So very low. And they'll basically...
For a horror film?
I mean, most of
Because
them...
Paranormal Activity was made for under $5 million.
Yeah, but that's an abnormal thing, right? Like,
I mean, for Blumhouse films, no, not really.
Well, in terms of being made on that small of a budget and then having that much of a return,
yeah,
like that's
because it's a good movie.
Even with the other paranormal movies, it never hit that same height.
Yeah, because it was a good movie.
But even still, the box office draw on this was $22.1 million. So
not bad.
Yeah. But it's dated.
When did it come out?
85.
Oh wow. Okay.
And because the budget is cheap, it looks like it.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, it's played as like, okay, this guy is having like PTSD flashbacks from Vietnam. He's an established horror writer who had like one big hit, and like everybody's wanting him to do another one, but he needs to write this book about his experience in Vietnam. So he's doing that.
Apocalypse
Meanwhile,
Now? Apocalypse Now?
Yeah, right.
The Haunting of
Full
Hill
Metal
House?
Jacket was. I actually forgot to mention that one. That was another one that I thought of while this was like Full Metal Jacket.
I would say more like Jacob's Ladder, but
yeah.
It's better because it's an actual horror film about the PTSD.
That would be nice. I wonder what would have happened if I actually watched a horror movie.
You know, there was a Jacob's Ladder remake that came out this year?
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That well is never dry, man.
I mean, that Jacob's Ladder inspired Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, both great. I think the original Jacob's Ladder is actually a really great film.
It is. It's very good.
But
Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon.
I don't want to talk about Stir of Echoes. Okay, I have some bad experiences with Stir of
really?
Echoes. Yeah, I had diarrhea the first time I watched it. So association
Like through the whole movie.
Through the whole movie.
Go to the bathroom, man.
I couldn't. Once you start a movie, I need to finish it.
Did you replace your couch?
The first time I wasn't on a couch, I was standing.
Did you replace? Did you replace your pants?
Yes, I did. I pooped myself. It was that and Taking Lives with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Both of those movies are terrible. I also had diarrhea. Let's just go through all the movies. All right.
Sure.
No, when I first sat down and the movie for when I started watching Watchmen.
Oh, that's a rough one.
Yeah, and I had a stomachache at the very beginning, and I was like, "Oh no!" The credits start rolling, and that one song plays.
By Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah. No, not that one. Actually opening crawl of the credits, and it's going through the whole timeline.
Oh, yeah. Times Are Changing.
Times Are Changing. Bob Dylan, thank you.
I was thinking of the trailer for Watchmen.
Yeah. No, when the movie was actually playing, I was like, I had stomachache pains, whatever. And I was like, oh no, this is 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah. You were in for a long haul.
I was, so, yeah.
Anyway.
House.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
Dude,
this.
we still have fucking news, man.
Yeah, I know. Get to it, man.
I'm trying. You keep taking diarrhea detours.
It's the name of the episode.
Oh, no.
It's not.
So, yeah, while all this is happening with this author, his aunt. Fine. Whatever. Tomato. Who says tomato?
No one says tomato. I hate that expression.
God damn it. I never...
It was your fault. Oh.
So while all this is happening, his aunt hangs herself in her house.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And this whole sequence of events is intercut with flashbacks to a previous time when the writer was at his aunt's house and he lost his son. He was in
lost him.
But he was in the pool.
Oh.
And he dove. It looked like he was drowning, so he dove down to go get him, and then he was just gone.
Oh, Minority Report.
And they never found him again. The time but the time that has elapsed between when that child vanished to the events of now
1985
is never clearly established, but it feels like it's been years.
Yeah. Do the characters look different?
No.
Oh.
But just the way the narrative is structured, it feels like it's been years.
Right.
Because the guy's no longer married. He's going through all these troubles. That's just the way it's formatted.
Yeah.
It could have been a month later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's very well done writing. This is great.
So after his aunt kills herself, he decides that he needs to move back into the house to kind of get his writing juices flowing.
Sure.
Because he's struggling to write this Vietnam novel that he's having PTSD flashbacks about.
And not about losing his kid?
No,
oh, no, wait.
no.
It wasn't the author that lost the kid, was
yeah,
it?
it was.
Oh, I'm very confused. I thought there was another guy.
No. It's the same guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, he has a shitty life.
It's rough, right? And his wife left him.
Oh, God.
Kind of. It's weird.
Well, it's because he lost his son.
But
his aunt.
They still call each other, and he's pretending to be at a party. It's very strange.
I'm at a party. I hear no one else.
So now that he's at the house, it's been established that there are some kind of spectral occurrences going on, or seemingly spectral. The house seems haunted. There's lights that'll flicker, or So there are obviously things going on in the house.
Yeah.
And then it just escalates to where he opens a closet door one day, and there's a fucking multi-tentacled thing type monster.
Well, it's clearly his son.
It's like a Cronenberg creation.
Yeah.
In the closet.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, what the fuck is that? Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So then it switches from him trying to write, between scenes of him trying to write this novel, and then at one point he becomes an impromptu babysitter.
What the fuck is going on with this movie?
It's very strange.
What movie is this?
And the house is playing tricks on him, so at one point he sees his estranged wife come to check up on him.
Yeah.
And as they're talking, he like looks away and then looks back, and then she's another Cronenberg-esque monster.
Of course.
And he's carrying around a shotgun with him because at that point he's like, "There's monsters in the house."
Yeah.
And he shoots this monster, and then after she like flies backwards and he goes to check, oh, it's his wife.
Yeah, he just
oh no, but
ex-wife, right?
Well, estranged wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But then it turns out it's the house is playing tricks on him again.
Oh, so she disappears?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's there's some back and forth being.
Can I make some? You watched 2 bad movies. You didn't watch a good one.
So no, this is definitely I would say a poorly made movie. However, it was entertaining because I laughed.
But it's still a bad movie.
It
wasn't
movie.
a good horror movie.
No, it wasn't. I was never scared.
Can I give you 2 recommendations?
Yes, please.
I'm going to give you a recommendation to replace Lake Mungo, and I'm
Okay.
going to give you a recommendation to replace whatever the fuck shit this is. House. Not the
It's
good.
funny, dude. Like I'm not even like coming.
I remember seeing the DVD of it, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, cool!
it's-
It's the
it's-
Japanese one." And
No,
then
no,
I was
no,
like,
no.
"No." I went through the same thought process as you, and I saw it. I was like, "Oh no, it's just a really shitty American one."
Yeah, it's the one where the severed hand
Yeah.
is hitting the doorbell.
Yeah.
This is a B movie.
Yeah,
Just straight up.
like Dead Alive by Peter
They
Jackson.
Live is another
They
one,
Live,
is one
yeah.
I was thinking of. Yeah.
I'm going to give you 2 recommendations. The first one to replace Lake Mungo, the documentary style, very slow and everything. This movie is also a documentary style, also a little bit slow, but the tension is very well taught.
You're gonna recommend Blair Witch Project?
No, I'm not. I fucking hate that movie.
The original or the remake?
The original and the remake.
For already established reasons.
Yes.
Although that was part of the Lost episode.
Yes, it was part of the Lost episode. The spaghetti
The
incident.
spaghetti incident.
Spaghetti date incident.
What year is that? So we could start calling it the spaghetti incident of 20 whatever.
It was last year.
Spaghetti incident of 2018.
Hey, I still got some. So.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, yeah. I still got both. The one to replace Lake Mungo is called No Roy the Curse. And that's not No Roy the Curse.
No, Roy!
There are no Roys in this curse. No, it's a Japanese mockumentary.
Okay.
Similarly films where they do interviews and stuff, but there's also some, like, I want to say Blair Witch-esque type scenes where they're filming at night and there's scenes where they think they see something and stuff like that. I remember watching it. The only way I could watch it at the time was through like a online website and stuff.
Yeah.
No, pirating stuff. It was hard to find.
Yeah.
But you can easily find it now, I think, on YouTube. No Roy, Noroi, The Curse. It's got like a weird mask
Gotcha.
on the cover. Fantastic. Especially
Okay.
the ending. I love the twist. Sorry. There's a twist.
Oh.
The recommendation to replace House, the B movie that you enjoyed, which is fine, but it didn't scare you.
It did not scare me.
It's called The Changeling.
Yes, so this was actually part of my possibilities too.
Right.
But I couldn't find it.
It's also hard to find because when you try to look it up, it brings up the Angelina Jolie movie.
Yeah.
Which is totally different.
Yeah.
This one is more about a piano teacher who moves into his house, and he's trying to write music and retire and enjoy his life, and the house is haunted with kids and stuff. There's some very eerie scenes. It holds up really well done.
Nice.
It was early 80s. But The Changeling, and there's a really cool B plot and stuff. There's also a twist in that one. Ha! Gotcha. Double twist.
You got me.
So those are my recommendations. Because when you were describing these 2 other movies, I was just thinking of these 2 far better movies.
Yeah.
And then you watch the original House, which is very dated, 1970s Japanese film.
You said you have watched it.
I have seen the original House that we're
Well, this
talking
is
about.
like totally unrelated. So you can
I
just
know.
say that one.
I know, yeah. But the Japanese House, it's just called House.
Yeah. With the cat. on
Yeah, with the
cover.
cat face,
Yeah.
like picture and stuff. But yeah, all the ghosts and stuff are like drawn on. You know, when you watch it, it's like drawings that a child would draw, but they're killing kids and stuff.
Huh.
All of it seems like a dream. You don't know if people are actually dying, but it's
Yeah.
about a school trip where a whole bunch of schoolgirls go to this haunted house and stuff.
Yeah, it's like
and
her aunt or something. She has a house. Bless you. Bless you.
aunt. Yeah.
Fuck you.
So I would recommend those 3. Let's get into the news, though.
Yes, we have a lot.
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah, we couldn't have planned it better where we're doing themes again with news at the same time that New York Comic Con is going on.
Yes. A lot of Comic-Con comic related news and stuff, like the Birds of Prey trailer dropped. Did you watch it?
I did watch it. What was your takeaway from it?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to look at. I watched it, and then I watched the trailer for Six Underground right after it, and I was like, oh Michael Bay. Whatever the fuck Harley Quinn movie this is. First off, it's not Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. It's just Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Like, they're marketing it for the one character that they know they're selling the movie for, that people are going to go see. Don't sell me Birds of Prey. Don't sell me Mary Elizabeth Winstead and all these other chicks.
Well, they're trying to use it as a vehicle for all the other ones. Right?
Nobody's going to go see sequels to this for the other characters.
If it's good.
Yeah. But even if it's good, they're not going to go see it for Huntress, and they're not going to go see a Huntress.
Dude, come on.
They're not going to make a Black Canary movie.
Nobody knew who the fuck the Guardians of the Galaxy were, and then people were clamoring for a second one.
But that's because all of the characters are front and center. They didn't have a Rocket Raccoon movie before this.
That's fair. Yeah.
When this movie becomes successful, they're going to pin the success on Harley Quinn and not Huntress, Black Canary, Black Mask, which...
Unless the consensus is that all those other additions add something to it.
Maybe.
Then the studio's going to be like, dude, we could pull that same money 5 times during the same year because we'll just have single entries for all these other people.
See, but Sony tried to do this with Amazing Spider-Man, and they still didn't even...
It was fucking Sony, so... Like, of
this
course
is Warner Brothers. I mean,
know.
they're doing the same thing with Harry Potter.
I'm not saying that Warner Brothers... Like, I thought the second Fantastic Beasts movie was one of the worst things I fucking saw in 2018. Was that when it came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
God, that was only a year ago?
And I never thought I'd say that about a quote-unquote Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
Even though, that's arguable.
Tangentially.
Yeah. I'm just saying, from an executive's point of view, if you release a movie that is ostensibly a team movie, and reviews and reactions are saying, not only did we like the inclusion of Harley, which is basically the only redeeming quality of Suicide Squad,
right,
but we also like these other additions too, then money. In
a perfect world, I totally agree. That's what they try to do. That's how they build franchises. Yeah. That's how they try to make the dark universe happen. I know we shouldn't have to talk about it, but here's the thing. They had a perfectly good start with Dracula Untold, but they're just like, they're going to totally ignore that and start. Anyway, we're not going to talk about it. But MCU did it by tangentially putting a little stinger at the end. Yeah. Like, they didn't even think... they had an idea. They had a good idea.
They didn't know how far it was
how successful it would be.
Yeah.
It was Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Chef was great.
This was after. Chef came out after.
I know.
Anyway.
Any reason to talk about Chef?
I think it's exciting. I'm excited at the idea of it. Personally, I feel like they could have come up... I think I'm more excited for Gotham City Sirens whenever this... If they make it, because Birds of Prey, whether it'll be successful or not.
I'm more excited. I came off this trailer feeling pretty meh, honestly.
It's a lot of, like, just flash and colors and, like, Harley Quinn having an accent and then not having an accent.
And to be frank, like...
Hello, Frank.
Hi.
Who's the other person you were saying hi to?
The other Frank.
Oh.
I wasn't even a huge fan of Robbie's Quinn in Suicide Squad.
I wasn't either.
And that was the big thing that people took away from it. It's like, oh, she's great in that.
No, Captain Boomerang was great in that.
She was good. She was the most redeeming thing about that movie. She
was the most you remembered of that movie.
Right, in terms of not just being a drab, gray, nothing thing.
Flashing light in the sky.
But, like, that's it. I wasn't like, I need another movie with that.
With Margot Robbie, yeah. And then they're like, the Joker and I are broken up. Like, that's the first line from the trailer, and you're like, oh, Oh,
Well, they want people to know that it has nothing to do with Suicide Squad.
Yeah, this is not Suicide Squad. Not only are we rebooting it with Margot Robbie,
she's supposed to be in that one too.
So that's
this is going to be such a clusterfuck.
Two Harley Quinn movies that are not related to each other that come out in the same year.
Can I say though that
wait, is the Suicide Squad planned for next year?
Is it?
They've started.
Yeah, I think so.
They started production
because Guardians 3 is
slated for 2021.
Yeah.
That's right. Man, he's quick on the turnaround. James Gunn.
If I have faith in Gunn to make that an actual team movie,
but you gotta have faith
because he's done it twice now, and I know some people are kind of iffy on Guardians 2, but I love it.
If you don't like Guardians 2, fuck you.
It's. Like,
I think it's better than Guardians 1.
I thought so too, but
fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Let's get into more news.
So going off of DC, or do you want to do trailers or DC?
Let's stick to the comic books. So
so
I don't know what I want.
Coincidentally, the animated Harley Quinn show is launching on DC Universe.
People hate it.
Do they? I haven't seen
They hate the look of it. Like, from what I've read in the forums, comments, stuff like that. It's the internet.
The stuff that I've seen looks exactly like the Bruce Timm stuff.
No, it's not. It's not that it doesn't look great to us. I'm just saying that the internet as a whole, from what I've gathered, they do not like the look and or tone of it. So,
right.
But the internet is the internet. So
November 29th is when that's supposed to drop.
And that's dropping on the DC Universe
which might
service.
Not exist in a year because HBO Max is kind of.
Do they own it?
It's being absorbed, I think.
Wait, Warner Brothers owns.
No.
DC EU. No.
I don't. It's going into something else. I'm pretty sure it's HBO Max.
Are they gonna? They're gonna mush HBO Max
and DC Universe.
Huh. Very confusing.
I don't think DC Universe has taken off quite the way they wanted it to.
Which is very interesting because Titans has been very successful in its second season.
Swamp Thing got canceled in the middle of its first season.
Yeah.
So,
I still feel like they pulled the plug too early on that.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was the best show.
I know that
they didn't give a chance to, and I watched the first season of Titans, and despite what people tell me, it was not good.
We talked about that in Nicknames Movies.
Yeah. A day before, M. Night Shyamalan is dropping a new series on Apple Plus.
I'm sorry, fucking what?
Yeah.
M. Night
Shyamalan. Shyamalan is doing a new series on Apple Plus called Servant, and. Get this, they already have 6 seasons planned out.
I don't want this. Didn't he already have a movie anthology series that he was starting?
I'm not sure.
Yes.
The premise,
was the answer.
It might be related to this some way because the premise of this is couple loses child. That's a couple weeks old.
Oh, no.
Mom goes a little crazy.
Okay.
And I guess there's this actual coping technique where you get a doll and you treat that as an actual child for a while. But she takes it to extreme where she's like hiring a nanny for it when they go out and stuff like that. And it's just about the effects that has.
There's already been I can already list 5 movies that this is the exact plot of it.
6 seasons.
Of that, just that plot?
Yeah.
No.
Of the overarching, yeah. He was saying that it's going to be a half-hour show.
Season finale, the boy comes back.
And it's generally about about 10 episodes per season. So yeah, about 6 seasons.
What are the other Apple shows that they've announced that?
They've announced.
Do you remember Jason Momoa, fresh off of Game of Thrones and his other 5 other shows that he's tried to make? There is a series coming to Apple Plus. Is that what it's called? Apple Plus?
Yeah, Apple Plus.
Called See, where the whole world is blind, but one woman has 2 kids that can see, which apparently all the blind people in the world know that they can see.
Okay.
And everyone can walk throughout the whole world like they can see totally fine. Everyone's Daredevil in this.
Did you
show.
ever watch Bird Box?
Yes, this is Bird Box.
Me of the end of Bird Box.
Yes, It's basically after Bird Box is over. Yeah, it's that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's. We'll watch the trailer after.
When you said C, I for some reason just thought of the letter C.
The letter C.
It's like, what is that?
SEE.
Like he's learning C++?
Yes. Apple C
plus.
Apple plus C, whatever. So what? I don't have Apple stuff. I'm an Android guy over here.
That's okay. Weird flex, but
well, no, I'm just it's not a flex. I'm just saying, like, I don't really have access to that stuff, and I don't want to, like, with the whole Apple game push and all that stuff. Like, I was interested at first, but now not so much. It's like all the stuff that they have is everywhere else.
Right.
So, what else comic related?
Oh man, there's so much Walking Dead stuff.
Oh yeah, the third series.
The third season, third series. That's a spinoff. That's untitled.
They announced it. It was like We Are the Darklings or whatever. Yeah.
The what?
It's called like We Are the Darklings. Hold on, let me look.
I know they call the walkers empties, and they call themselves the endlings.
Endlings. We are the endlings.
But I haven't seen that they announced the name.
Green lights.
All I saw was that it's set for spring of 2020, and then they dropped a little trailer for it, and boy, that is a tonally dissonant.
I haven't watched the trailer for it. When it has The Walking Dead on it, I was like, I'm not interested in it.
Out. Yeah. I'm at that point too.
It's like it could be an amazing show, but
and this is like
season 11.
That was the other bit of news. They announced that they were officially renewed for season 11 of The Walking Dead.
End
show.
it.
Yeah.
End it.
Well, the comic ended.
Yeah. So that doesn't mean the show's going to end because it makes a lot of money for a lot of people.
They still have those Rick Grimes movies in the work too.
Fuck me.
So, yeah. Anyway, on to news, which I don't know if you know, but I
probably do.
I hope this will be of some enjoyment to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, solace, so you don't have to pay that much more attention to Walking Dead. You can just think about this. Steven Universe Future.
Yeah. So it's a limited series. I was going to touch up on this.
Steven Universe Shippuden.
Yeah, basically. So it's a limited series, but they're not calling it a sequel series.
Yeah.
And
it's like they said it was like an epilogue.
Yeah, but they're not saying how long it is. They don't know how many episodes yet. Cool.
They didn't even say when it was coming out. They just said coming soon.
When it takes place. Yeah. Any of that stuff. Like, hey, it's more Steven Universe. Yeah. Don't fucking tease us this. Don't cock tease us with more Steven Universe.
Okay, you seem a little mad about this. I thought you would be generally happy about it.
I would be. But guess what? I got thrown into this. And I finished the series. I watched all the filler. And then I watched the movie. Movie was fine. It's a great musical. I have one particular song in the soundtrack that's stuck in my head consistently.
Okay.
But I'm not going to sing it.
Well, you can.
I don't. Zach? I'm not going to sing it. Don't give me that guinea pig like... Da, da, da. No. I'm not going to sing it.
I don't even know the song.
Yeah. But so the movie was great. It was a great ending. Because I could have totally finished the series and not watched the movie and been fine. I watched the movie. It was even more fine. It was more. But like I was content. Now there's going to be even fucking more. What the hell?
The way you are talking about this actually reminds me of your reaction to Toy Story 4.
Yes, it's more, and I don't want it.
You felt it was unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. It's okay. It's not 1-to-1, but it's like starting a series, not knowing how long it's going to be, and then realizing that it's just never going to end because the writers have more and more stuff to write, but not all of it's like 80 to 90% of it is not good. I'm talking particularly of the Arrowverse.
Okay. I wouldn't have made that connection.
Oh, I know. I was going to get there eventually. So like Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, it's now Supergirl, now it's Batwoman. They say like 80% of it's good, but that's like 5 shows. That's 45 minutes each. That's like fucking 6 hours, 8 hours more like a week that you have to commit to these shows. And then there's the crossover events, so you have to keep track of each show to keep track of the crossover.
Not watch it, right?
I'm not watching it.
Okay.
I'm not watching it anymore. I stopped watching it Arrow season 6, Flash season 3.
Oh yeah, I just watched 6 seasons of a show. It was no big deal.
And then
I stuck through 6 seasons of each of the CW verse, but I didn't watch anything past season 3.
And then I stopped because I realized
Bad.
that this was crack cocaine, and I don't like it. I don't like having to pay money for this. I want it free in my veins right now. But I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting the content that I wanted anymore. It was all fun comic book stuff, but I was getting plenty of that with the MCU. I was getting plenty of that with the DCEU. And frankly, I feel like people should know when to stop. They should have an ending in mind in the beginning. Game of Thrones had it. Breaking Bad had it. Sopranos had it. Boardwalk Empire had it.
To varying degrees of success.
Yes, all of those. But like when a show has a beginning, middle, and end, Mr. Robot, this is the final season, and the creator, Sam Esmail, said at the very beginning, he's like, it's only going to be 4 or 5 seasons. Yep. This is season 4. It's the final season. He had a definitive ending. He knew where he wanted to go. Have an end point.
There is something to be said about a solid and planned ending.
Robert Kirkman had an ending for Walking Dead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, yeah, and that whole thing kind of elongated. You know, I read his letter when the final issue dropped. And that was an interesting read about how he kind of structured that.
It was supposed to be a lot sooner.
Yeah, with Negan actually.
Yeah.
And then he felt like he could do more. And then,
which I don't mind.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can do more with your story, but still.
When do you cut that off? Because Walking Dead went for. What was the last issue? It was like right before.
It was like 191, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, it was before a big milestone because a lot of people were like, "Oh, I thought I was going to make it to that."
But whatever.
But what's the cutoff then? How do you judge? Because I agree with you. I love like a good definitive ending.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's not this dragged out like 600 episode thing that you have to trudge through filler. But how do you know when something is filler and when something is like, this was the route that I laid out? Is that not what an editor's for then?
I totally agree, but when they have to have a certain number of episodes per season,
true,
because that's what they're contracted for, particularly with the TV shows that we've mentioned.
Right, and that's not just cable either. That's like the same problem affected the Netflix Marvel shows.
Yeah,
those were always like 3 or 4 episodes longer than they should have been.
And Netflix's policy is after 3 seasons, the numbers aren't there for the show, so there's no point in wasting tens of millions of dollars on a show that's not going to get its return back, or at least get half of its return back.
Right.
In subscribers.
193 was the final Walking
Dead.
Oh
yeah, see, I knew it was right before 200.
Oh, all right. Well,
I'm sorry. I got a little heated there.
I thought I was bringing you good news, but apparently,
very peeved about it. No, I'm still.
I understand.
I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Cool, Steven Universe.
You're glad for more content, but you're worried that it's going to affect the ending in a negative fashion.
I feel like Rebecca Sugar needs to. That's the creator.
Yeah.
Needs to just take a break, enjoy what she created.
Mm-hmm.
Like all great creators and content providers for a wide audience, I feel like you need to find a moment, and I feel like she's gotten there along with her creative team, where you find a good place to stop. But if you feel like you have more of a story to tell, like still take a break and then come back. Like you just released the movie, and you just finished the series late last year, whenever.
Well, it just says coming soon. It might be a year before we see it.
Okay. All right, fine.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I know. But
I understand what you're saying, too. I totally get where you're coming from. 1917.
I'm very excited for this. Mm-hmm. We're going to see this together, and we're both going to see it in IMAX. I will buy the tickets.
World War I, full continuous shot.
It's going to appear as most of the film, like Gravity, is going to be one continuous shot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Directed by Sam Mendes, who directed Skyfall, and the cinematographer for Skyfall.
A lot of people in this.
Oh yeah.
Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Mark Strong's in everything.
Yeah, he's in every British movie. Richard Madden from Game of Thrones. Mark Strong, Colin Firth, Any sophisticated British actor
guy,
who's
yeah.
in a Kingsman movie is in this movie.
It's funny that you mentioned Kingsman, Nick, because that was another trailer that dropped.
Oh yeah, the Kingsman.
The Kingsman.
I am so excited for
This looks good.
It's like, okay, so quick little bunch of mindless self-indulgence thought.
What else would the podcast be if not for that?
The Golden Circle, Kingsman 2. Not a good film.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Not as good as the first one.
So the first half of the movie is fantastic. It's more Kingsman. And then you get into the robot dogs and the Elton John and the Julianne Moore being Julianne Moore, but like not really evil, but okay.
It was weird.
And like the president being...
It kind of had the reverse problem of the first one, where I felt well, no.
It was too fantastical to me.
No, it had almost the exact problem as the first one.
In
what
way?
The first half is really, really good.
Yeah.
And in fact, for the first movie, like 80% of it is really, really good.
Yeah.
And then there's like that weird tonal shift, like right there at the end,
Where it gets very comic booky.
Yeah. And not even in terms of, like, yes, in terms of the action, but like the whole thing with the prison, the princess scene.
Oh yeah,
that was weird.
Yeah,
that was a weird.
after he beats the bad
after
guys?
he beats the bad guys.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I get to do you in the butt or whatever. Yeah,
that was so off key for me. Like, okay.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't want to take her like virginity. She's a princess.
The joke itself is what was weird.
He gets to do her in the butt. He gets to do the princess butt.
Okay.
I'm just saying it makes sense. Like if you think about it, if you were in his shoes, the princess butt.
Well, she's the one that suggested. Why are we talking about this?
Because I want an episode title that gets clicks.
You don't think?
No, we're moving past it. Princess butt.
Oh yeah, Kingsman looks good.
It looks fantastic. The music, like, I'm pretty sure. Did we talk about that on air?
No, we didn't.
Before we were airing the podcast, we were talking about the music. War Pigs from Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to it while doing laundry because I watched the trailer right before. I was like, yeah, this is a good song.
It is.
And
it starts like slow and kind of instrumental, and then it like ramps up.
Really great actors in this. You got Ralph Fiennes. Rafe Fiennes?
Rafe Fiennes.
It's Ralph.
It's Rafe.
Ralph Fiennes. Voldemort is in it. And I don't know the kid actor in it. I think he was in... help me out. I think he was in Dunkirk?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Or was that the kid from One Direction?
Harry Styles.
Sure. Zayn Malik. Rami Malek. Mr. Robot. I'm not good at vamping either.
Oh, no.
I want to suck your blood. I'm a vampire.
It's good. I think mine's
better than yours.
No, I think mine's
No, yours is very like B movie, like I found the dog.
Well,
like
yeah,
Bela Lugosi.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Bela Lugosi, like right before he died. Like, we should probably take him to the hospital. Mine's more like I found those. Like mine's Gary Oldman. Yours is Bela Lugosi.
Thank you.
Oh fuck you, dude. Shit. Gary Oldman was fantastic. It was Keanu Reeves that was distracting.
Matthew William Good.
Has he been in other things? He's looked familiar.
He was in The Imitation Game. He was actually in Watchmen.
Oh, well, fuck me. I had diarrhea through that whole thing.
I don't think this is right.
Okay. Well, the Kingsman looks good.
I think that's Ozymandias from Watchmen.
Yeah, that's Matthew Good. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Oh, I misheard you.
Anyway.
More news!
Moving on. Stranger Things 4 announced.
Yes.
And it has a teaser.
So, there was a teaser. It's just a glowing number 4. It looks like we have Big Ben in the foreground. It's panning out. It's like we're not in Hawkins anymore.
Yeah.
It didn't say next year. I don't think it will be next year. But it's coming soon. And did he? What is the actor's name? I'm sorry.
David Harbour.
David Harbour. I think he may have hinted at him coming back, which just goes totally
that was
against.
part of the discussion of the ending of season 3. And,
yeah. So Hopper's back.
Yeah.
You're giving for the audio listeners. He's like, ooh, cool. I think a lot of people, they're not going to get as many people watching season 4 as they did season 3. I think they lost quite a bit of their audience.
Well, I think you can say that. That's how most shows go.
No, I know, and that's why Netflix carries that rule.
Audiences will dwindle as a show goes on, just by virtue of
hither and thither.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah, I mean, I still find it an interesting show.
Oh, I'll for sure fucking watch it.
Yeah.
I love Stranger Things. Casey asked me the other day what my favorite TV show was, and it was hard
tough.
for me to answer because I honestly don't watch a whole lot of TV anymore.
Huh.
Except for the things that I make time for and like I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
One of those was Game of Thrones.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. One of those was fucking
Breaking Bad.
no, what's the one I hate season 2 of that you didn't watch?
I don't
With
know.
the robots. The HBO one. Oh god. Oh god. Westworld. See, at this point I've erased season 2 so much from my mind that I can't even remember the title.
Okay, but you're gonna watch Watchmen, right?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But like it's not like it's from a curiosity standpoint.
Right.
Like I'm curious to see how that goes. It's not like I can't wait for this.
Because it's season 1.
At this point, I think the only thing I'm like that with now is Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
and at first I was like, well, I don't think it's Stranger Things. Because, like, obviously, it's something else, right? There's so many other things.
Yeah, the first like feeling that you get when you hear the word Stranger Things, it's not like your heart goes aflutter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, yes, I love Stranger Things.
Yeah. Can I try to guess mine? Like my most favorite TV show?
Friends.
No. In fact, I'll probably never watch the show
Terrace
after I'm done
House.
with it. No.
The Great British Big Show.
Go to hell. It's
This-
actually
this-
very tough. It's a very tough question.
Well, I know you like Mr. Robot a lot.
Yes.
But I feel like that's not it.
It's not it because this final season can totally ruin it.
Mm.
It's a show that's done.
So it's is Boardwalk Empire done?
Yes.
That's it?
It's a very good guess. Very good guess.
Yeah. But it's not it.
It's a toss-up.
Okay. What's the other one?
It was Misfits. No. Have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen Misfits.
No, it's between Boardwalk and Mr. Robot. Honestly, I'm very, 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 very excited. Like the whole Heart of Flutter thing.
Yeah.
That's
your first reaction isn't like, "Oh God, I hope they don't ruin it."
yeah,
It's like, "Yes."
yeah.
Like,
Well, it's also
I get
it's
more.
it's both.
Your first reaction is like,
It's
I get
because
more.
it's because the reason it's my favorite show, and because I still watch a lot of TV, is because it's consistent. It's consistent in its quality of goodness.
I feel like I'm the opposite way. I have a better chance of watching a movie that's 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And get a good ending, and overall feel like that was a better use of my time.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just because I'm old now. I don't know. But like, I don't want to get to the ending. I've had so many shows.
It's less of a time commitment.
It's less of a time commitment, and you spend so much time on TV shows.
Yeah.
And like, there are variations in quality from season to season because a lot of the times people don't plan past season 1 or 2 because they weren't expecting it to
Showrunners
go
change.
on. Yeah, showrunners change. Even sometimes distributors change.
Yeah.
So like, that completely throws things up in the air.
Looking at you, Arrested Development.
I've had like 4 or 5
Community.
shows that are 7+ seasons.
Yeah.
And like, I like maybe 70% of it,
Yeah.
and then the ending is total dog shit.
So that's the thing. I can't have a favorite TV show where at least a good third of it is dog shit.
Yeah. Like, and
Misfits,
that's-
a good third of it is dog
and
shit.
that's where
so-
I'm coming from. And so far for me, like, the worst Stranger Things has been like, that's not as good as the other season of that, but
Yeah.
it's still good.
it's still fun, sci-fi, 80s, throwback.
I'm
so.
3 for 3 with Stranger Things right now. I've never
Me too.
come away from a season thinking like that was awful.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So I know we're in the minority, but give me more news.
More news on the Disney Plus front. Marvel shows will supposedly have film-sized budgets.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited about
Yeah,
this.
this is an interesting because it's not total. Well, it is total, so that's why it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
So like, they're saying that their shows, their 8-episode shows, or 6 episodes. I think they're slated for 6.
a lot of them were confirmed for 6 to 8 episodes, which is good.
Yeah, it is. I agree. They're getting like 130 to 150 million for the budget
for the entire series.
For the entire
season.
So that's a little different than saying like this whole 2-hour movie gets 120 to 130. But as we previously established,
they're 45 minutes to an hour
like
each.
Joker got a budget of 55.
Yeah.
I think for comparison, the Marvel Netflix shows were rocking on like 4 million.
Yeah.
Per
episode.
Per series. Oh. No, not per episode, per series.
So all of Daredevil season 1, 2, and 3 was 4 million?
Like a tenth of the cost of that these are going to be.
It goes to show when Marvel has their entire hand, and whether it be for better or worse, we have yet to see. When they have the entire handle on the project, that it's Netflix still had kind of their hands in the pie whenever they had the deal with them.
Right.
But now that they have their own streaming service, they could be like, okay, we're doing this for this long and for this many seasons, whether it be successful or not.
Right.
So it's still, we'll have to wait and see how many seasons of WandaVision we'll get.
Well, and like money isn't always indicative of quality, right? But that's a good sign. It shows that they're treating these seriously.
Yeah.
And
I guarantee you with the early subscribers of Disney Plus, they've already made that budget back.
Right. Because I see so many people that have been like, I opted for the 3-year thing. That was like 150.
That's a big commitment, man. But, people get married, have dogs.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about anybody specific.
I would say that's less of a commitment than the other two. Yeah.
Sure. What do I know?
Speaking of Marvel and Disney, apparently news broke that on the Sony and Marvel deal to continue to have Spider-Man as part of the
Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah, as part of the MCU for a little while longer. They'll do the third movie in the Homecoming trilogy.
Yes.
And then he'll have another MCU outing as well.
Specifically, yeah.
Apparently Tom Holland helped broker that deal.
He was like, hey, Mom, Dad, stop fighting.
Yeah. He's like, hey, Daddy-O Bob Iger.
It's sad that it had to be a fucking teenager that had to tell them this.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it was a fucking teenager that told them this, because honestly, that's their demographic.
Well, and he's not a teenager. He's over 20. He just looks like a teenager.
Potato, tomato.
That just makes you feel like shit, so that's why you have to pretend that he's a
Thank
teenager.
you. I'm glad that we do this.
I'm speaking from experience, too. It makes me feel like shit.
Okay. What? He's
Tom Holland's like 2 years younger than me.
Still younger than Tobey Maguire, so...
So, yeah, that's interesting that he was... and it's arguable...
The hero that we needed.
That he was the only contributing factor to it.
And not the audience reaction to the news.
But he helped get them at the table.
Yeah.
Colin.
Hey, was it Sony that took the cut? No, it was Disney.
Disney. Supposedly, originally, Disney wanted a 50-50 split on first day gross profits.
Right.
And this was actually part of what I was curious of, like, is this deal actually worse for them? Because their deal was on the first day profits.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then from there, it would go back to that 5%.
Don't they still get merchandise rights?
They still get merchandise rights and that stuff.
It's unrelated, I guess.
But this new deal that they are doing, Disney gets 25% of the cut. And I haven't seen anyone mention first day gross profit.
Lifetime gross?
That's what it reads like to me.
Okay.
To me, it reads like they get 25% of everything past first day. So to me, I feel like that's a better deal for them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because that movie's going to be in theaters for at least 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, wow.
And then they're fronting a quarter of the production costs as well.
And was the separate MCU film that he's going to do after the Homecoming trilogy ender, was that part of the original deal as well?
Yeah, we were discussing that last week when we first talked about the deal coming back.
Yeah.
I think so. I think Holland's contract still had 2 movies,
right?
One being the Homecoming finale,
MCU,
and then the other one being the team up movie.
So originally, the Homecoming finale, after the deal broke down, it was going to be just a Sony film,
right?
And all that stuff.
To me, it sounds like Holland's thing hasn't changed at all. It's just the agreement between
the money
the
distribution
studios,
right? So I'm just glad that Marvel's back in the game with this.
Thanks, Holland.
Yeah,
you real MVP.
Thanks, little boy.
Disney submitted Endgame for 13 Oscar categories.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. not submitted for Best Actor.
No.
Of all the people in that movie, the
Yeah.
one that made everyone in the entire universe cry.
I think they got scared off from their Black Panther noms not being considered.
It's still 13 other nominations.
Oh, no, I agree.
Like,
I'm just saying, in terms of the actor stuff, none of the nominations are for acting. It's for scriptwriting,
technical and writing.
Best Picture, costuming, set design, all that stuff. Yeah, the majority of them are technical. The biggest one would be Best Picture.
It's not going to win Best. It's not going to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it does, I'll eat my shoe.
Well, Scorsese doesn't consider them to be cinema, so.
Well, let's look back at his filmography, okay?
Does this not reek of like the same tired old man
James Cameron?
Clouds,
yeah,
because the kids.
It doesn't even seem political when they say it.
No, it's just ignorance because he admits that it's from a place of ignorance. It's not even like him saying
he equates it to theme parks. Like they're fun. They're fun for a short little ride, But
yeah, it was an interview with Empire Magazine. He said, in regards to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Scorsese told the publication. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being.
So it's not even a negative comment towards the quality of the films. He doesn't see them because
he has literally not seen them. He says I tried to see them. What does that mean? Did you try to see Iron Man?
Yeah.
Like, what is? I don't understand. There's 23 movies, dude.
Yeah.
Like, did you sit through 30 minutes? I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just wondering.
I watched the mid part of Ant-Man and I was like,
Did you watch 30 minutes of each movie?
Yeah.
Like, is that your reasoning here? Like, I'm confused on how he thinks this is a position of like authority.
It's teeter-tottering on just being a pull quote that he knew was going to make headlines.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure he wasn't even thinking of it.
He's not even promoting anything.
Yeah, well, he's promoting The Irishman on Netflix.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But that's not going to... I don't have a good feeling about that.
Yeah.
And no, he didn't produce Joker.
No, Phillips took inspiration
from King of Comedy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there are exact story beats from that movie.
Yeah, that's what it read like.
Yeah. So if you don't want to watch Joker, but you want to watch a great Scorsese film,
that is actually cinema, apparently.
Yeah.
Fuck
you, dude.
I'd be curious to see what his reaction to Joker
Oh, yeah,
was.
well, Hugo isn't a fucking Best Picture award winner.
James Gunn was sad about that.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine, because it's his hero that's telling him this. Hey, the movies that you made, they're kind of garbage.
I think the reason most people are upset about it is that Scorsese seems like such a force in films, right? Like he garners. He's usually part of someone's like favorite director list,
of
right?
course, because
people know
they
name.
grew up on his movies.
Right. So for him to come out and say what is ostensibly like, I don't like rap because all the kids rap and I never understood rap. I listened to one Eminem song and like that was it.
It's like Robert Zemeckis walking up to you and saying, I listen to your podcast. I've listened to other podcasts and they were far better. Yeah. I don't think yours is really a podcast.
Or really, it's like...
Then I get to kick him in the nuts from behind, right?
Really, it's like someone walking up to you and saying, hey, oh, you do a podcast? Yeah, I listened to a podcast once. I don't think podcasts are the same as radio.
They're not really the future.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Zemeckis. Theoretical Zemeckis.
Okay, I think that is actually... Oh, wait, no, hold on.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Kevin Smith officially announced writing Clerks 3 again. Yep.
Dude, you shouldn't be making this the reboot to Jay and Silent Bob. I think honestly he should be making more films, and I hate to say this, I really do. You should be making more films like Tusk and Red State. Make more original films.
Well, I think the original, because he had said this, he had finished a script for Clerks 3 before.
Yeah.
And I think it was around the time he did Red State.
Oh, it was because he was fighting with one of the original actors.
Yeah, Jeff, I I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays Randall
Anderson, I think.
Did you ever watch the Clerks
Animated series?
show?
I did.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cute.
Yeah,
canceled after 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then last bit of news here after this marathon. Matt Damon apparently turned down the lead role in Avatar.
And lost like $25 million or something.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? He's done better stuff for it. You know? Remember Elysium?
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Remember Downsizing? That was pretty bad.
He came out, it was an interview with GQ.
Martian. Sorry. I'll stop.
In an interview with GQ, he was talking about this. And he was saying, like, you know, I'm not hurting for money or anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think back on that as something like I regret. But, you know, it was a lot of money. They apparently did the math, GQ, and let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah.
Wait, what'd you call me?
He mentioned that Cameron, when he approached him for the lead role,
right.
He was like, let me see if I can. This is so James Cameron, this quote.
So James Cameron.
He said to Damon, you know. Oh, fuck. Okay, here it is. Now listen, I don't need anybody. I don't need a name for this. A named actor. If you don't take this, I'm going to find an unknown actor and give it to him because the movie doesn't really need you. But
what a fucking dick.
But if you take part...
Hey, where's Avatar 2, you fucking dick?
But if you take part, I'll give you 10% of, and then it trails off.
Go back under the sea, you fucking dick.
That is so James Cameron.
Go hang out with Sebastian and Flounder, you fucking dick. Eat my chode.
He's just
James Cameron. You got fucking dick.
He's just doing...
I don't really need you. Zach Smith.
Ouch.
I don't really need you.
This really hurts.
I'm just kidding. I love you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Fucking chode.
GQ did the math off of that, and if it was 10%, then he left like $250 million.
$250 million.
But he couldn't do it because he had other projects. I think Green Zone.
Oh, yeah.
He had going on there.
Nobody remembers it, but it was pretty good. Paul Greengrass.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's it for the news.
Are you kidding me? All right, let's see if we... Oh, yeah, today's James Bond Day. Dr. No premiered in 1962.
Hey.
Yay, James Bond.
Nick, I guess we're just super right all the time. Every day.
Where are you going with this?
We're right 100% because otherwise we would get emails.
Oh, yeah.
We would get emails of people telling us how wrong we are, but we never get them.
What? We haven't gotten a single email?
Not a single one.
Why wouldn't you just fucking lie? You are a bad liar.
I never pretended to be a good one.
Just say that we get emails every week since we set it up.
Then
the 2 weeks.
Why haven't we been reading emails then?
I guess you're right. We could be making up emails.
Look, obviously, again, we are just so right 100% of the time.
We don't get anything wrong.
Yeah.
No one has any thoughts whatsoever. They're not their own person. There's no autonomy in our society.
You're going a little antagonistic with
Well,
this.
I think that people need to just submit an email to lightscameranonsense@gmail.com.
That is lightscameranonsense@gmail.com.
Yeah, it's just like the title of the podcast with no commas.
Yeah.
lightscameranonsense@gmail.com. Just tell us where we're wrong. Tell us where we have an opinion that's obviously wrong, because opinions can be wrong.
Tell us what B-movie slasher we would want to be in.
Yeah, tell us a haunted house movie that I didn't recommend that you would actually say is better than the ones we talked about.
Can I just say you should go give House a shot?
No.
Go into it knowing that it's not scary. The dude does a fucking slide out his door.
The Haunting of Hill House.
That is very good.
That is on Netflix. That's better. I'm not going to go see House.
I was thinking in the middle of my transition from Lake Mungo to House, I was like, I could just literally spend this time rewatching Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
But it's a time commitment. That's a lot of episodes.
But I enjoy it.
But it was good. Yeah, I agree.
I would rather do that than watch Lake Mungo again.
Ouch. Only an hour and a half.
I don't understand why that's a 94%.
I don't either. People have bad opinions, much like us.
It's like, yeah. It's like us.
lightscameranonsense@gmail.com. Remember, this has been Lights, Camera, Nonsense, keeping you updated despite our best efforts. This was a long episode.
It was.
Tune in every week for all the latest news, reviews, and how do you do's. I'm keeping that.
I like it.
It's pretty good. It's growing on me.
You need to wear a top hat so you can go.
And how do you do? No one can see this. This is an audio podcast.
It's just for us.
It's just for us. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to visit us at patreon.com/lightscameranonsense. You can donate as low as $1 a month and get the content actually a day early because we post it on YouTube the day after it premieres. So, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Eat your fruits and vegetables.
I don't eat ass.
Maybe.
I need to put that at the end because people need to know. I feel like people are talking. So, all right, bye.
Bye.